Oh, I love Bondo and the smell of Bondo. I hate Bondo. Well, that sucks. As just saw, we were at the Home Depot. Getting what, you might ask? Got ourselves some Bondo spreaders, some hinges, some springs. So, here's the plan for this video. I want to thank you guys, everyone on our Patreon. You guys help pay for this stuff. So I want to just give a huge thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. I told you guys I was going to be telling you what I spent the money on, and I haven't. So I'm going to try to start doing that. So this was all, I bought this a while ago. So I bought this and the sandpaper and all this stuff. This all was about 60 bucks. And then these springs, and I got 2 of these hinges. This was all about 40. So that was our monthly supply right there from you guys. So I appreciate it. These are for the doors. I'll show you that later. I got 2 of these for the bed. These were like $5. So they're going to sit something like that. And this is for the endless amount of dents and imperfections on the vehicle. So I'm going to get started. We got just all sorts of stuff, and all those dents to fill, all this Bondo to Bondo. We got all sorts of stuff to do. So without further ado, I'm going to get to, laying down some putty and sanding some more. And this is why your comments are valued and why I'm glad you do what you do. So while this is drying, it's almost there. This is my test dummy because it's a big thick chunk, so still a little tacky. Anyways, okay, so down here, as expressed in the last video, it is trashed, completely trashed. I don't know how this side is actually, okay, so that side was wrecked. That's why it's so wobbly. So this side is actually pretty good. So we'll probably not do what I'm about to tell you on that side. So one of you suggested diamond plate, because a lot of guys will do diamond plate on Jeeps, around the fenders or around the wheel wells, that kind of thing. And basically it's what I did here. So I'm not sure why I didn't think of this by myself. But, so I have just a little bit of this sheet metal left, and that is 39 inches. And from right here to right about here is 39 inches. So basically, I'm gonna cut a 6-inch strip of that. It's so perfect. 6 inches is to the very bottom of this P, just below it. And this is just under 6 inches. We're gonna cover this whole thing and then just do a couple tacks and, just kind of make it look, I don't know, we'll see how it turns out when we get to that point, instead of me jammering on about what it may or may not look like, because I don't really know. But we're gonna try that, because that will hide all of that, and it'll just look like a patch panel, kind of add to the whole everything we got going on. So luckily I still have that. That was from a failed, terrible fender idea, made it look like a freaking butterfly. So I'm gonna measure that out, cut that, and then by the time I'm done with that, Bondo should be done drying, and boom, we're back in business. All right, ladies and dudes, let's see how this will work out. About like such. Let's see where we can go flush with the P and then just not weld directly on the P. That sounds weird. It's never good to weld on the P. Seems relatively level. So now I will put my mask on and my welding glove. Where are you? I only put one welding glove on because I like the other one to be nimble enough for my trigger finger. It's a very, yes, science. Okay, got that welded a little more. Still got a little left to go. So on Bondo, you want to use a sanding block normally. That's the right way to do it. I'm gonna knock a lot of this rough stuff down real light with the DA. Just kind of get the gunk out of the way, go over it real light, let the sandpaper do the work. And then once we have it, once we have all this crud and all the rough stuff off, then I'll grab the block and then go over it. I probably still feels soft-ish, so probably a little more hardener on the next round, or maybe that's just thicker because that feels pretty good. So that's what I'm doing now. That turned out, I mean, look, it's flat. That's sweet. Bondo and sheet metal. Yay, Bodywork. Okay. As you noticed, I didn't actually get the sanding block out. There are some issues that I ran into. So right here, the center point was actually high. So I hit that with the hammer, got it relatively level. And then right about here, it kind of droops. So I need to spread the Bondo up a little bit and just get it super thin right here. But overall, this is kind of what you want, in my opinion, like where it's, I mean, just ridiculously thin, feathered, like that's kind of what you're shooting for. Up here is pretty decent. There's almost like a line right here that you can feel right when you pass it, like a hard drop, like right here. So the same thing, need to skim that a little better. This actually is probably about as good as that's gonna get. Right here, I'm gonna have to lay more than I want because this whole thing starts to go in, starting about down here. So this whole thing needs to get skimmed, and then I need to go pretty slow and just take my time and just form into this whole thing. Didn't put enough right there. As you can see, there's still a dent. Up here, I didn't put enough because I want it to look like this, where it's just a real light transition. So we need to add some more right there, get a little more up top, and kind of just shoot it straight off and down. Right now there's kind of a bump, so we want to blend that together. So I'm out of time for the night, but I'm going to mix up some Bondo. Just go over those spots that I talked about, let it dry overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and hit it again. All right, we're back. You can't tell because the sun's bright, but it's about 5, so had a late day. Anyways, okay, so that's the Bondo from last night. I'm gonna try and speed this process up just a little bit, basically by getting this side ready. So we got dent. So I'm gonna hammer those up a little bit, sand more of this down, low spot right there. That's pretty rough, gotta fill that in. So that's already dry, but I figured I'm gonna Bondo all this, so then by the time I'm done sanding that side, this side will be dry as well. So I'm gonna get going on that, no more talking. This is all looking pretty good though. That's a pretty good skim. I get to break out the gallon now. I still have a gallon of extra Bondo right there. So we're gonna see what's left in that. And then if not, I got another gallon. We got so much Bondo, we could build a hood from it. So I'm gonna get going on that. All right, give you a quick update here. I'm spent, but I got a lot of work still to do. I still got a little bit of night left. This is pretty dang good. That side, as far as my skill set goes, that's about as perfect as I could have asked for. This side, it still dips down right here real slightly. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna do another skim right here. And then it does the same thing right there. So I'd have to do another skim probably like that, and then another skim like that. It's just, it takes, so I learned that it really does pay to use the sanding block because you can't get this stuff perfect with the DA. That's why I did, I mean, there's probably, I think this was my 6th layer, I think, and that's because I'd get it pretty good with the DA, but I'd end up taking some sections down more than the others, and it sucks because the block takes forever. This is the 5th day of just the hood, and I'm finally pretty happy with it. This is pretty good. I actually didn't do this with the block, so I'm probably gonna do another skim, knock it down with the DA, and then get it straighter with the block. This door is less straight than I thought. The seam that I thought was pretty perfect. The center section here was a little higher. You can see that's why the Bondo over here hasn't been touched, and there it's sanded down. This one wasn't bad, but these little nubs, sorry, I don't know where the camera is. These little nubs of weld from the back side were a little higher, so I think I'm gonna get the grinder out, just take a break from sanding, grind all this down, and then just a couple, like there's a little like nub here from the back plating. So this section here, actually, the Bondo hardly did anything because the metal was so decent, so I'm gonna try and get this to match. And then after this door, we got to do that door, and then after that door, basically just have the rear. And this is going to be an absolute nightmare, so I'm going to do kind of the same idea on the door. I'm just going to try and get it better. Like this is sticking, holy, I can't, my camera's super dirty. Hang on. T-shirt. Come here. Come here, t-shirt. Maybe that's better, I don't know. Okay, so this section right here is sticking out almost a ½ inch higher than this right here. So all I'm gonna do with the Bondo is just kind of clean up the sharp parts basically. Do the same thing on this side. So I patched this little hole. This was where the handle was. So we're just gonna clean that up, get it smooth. I said in the last video that I realized this wasn't gonna be perfect. And so I'm just gonna get it the best that I can. And someone was like, if you don't care about it, what's the point of building it? Shut your face, it's gonna look good. It's just not gonna be perfect. I'm not gonna spend my entire life trying to fix little tiny dents that no one is gonna notice but myself. So I'm just gonna get it to where I'm happy, to where there aren't any sharp dents. The hood is actually gonna look really good. The door is gonna be pretty, that should turn out pretty decent. The back's gonna be pretty So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not really worried. I'm just not worried about it. This is gonna look so stinking good for me welding. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We got like almost 20 pieces of Jeep that have been cut and re-welded back on. So when this is done, and you didn't know that, if I told you that, you go, wow. So that's what we're doing. Update. I'm gonna sand more. This shop is dusty. It's ridiculous. That was better, eh? Well, it looks like a barber studio in here. Barber shop. Dance studio. Ooh. That's amazing what $20 of Walmart light bulb LED brand stuffs would do. Now this whole place is gonna be wonderful. Yeah, now it's a party. Those are the equivalent of 100 watt, but they only use 14 watts. Says the last 22 years, says it'll cost $1.40 each to run all year long. So that's pretty cool. They are not the color I wanted, but they're bright, and I'll get used to it. I'm not really gonna care. There was literally no light right here. Now this whole thing is lit up in all of its dusty glory. Yay. This is the first dually I've ever worked on, and I just thought I'd film a quick snippet of it because I've never seen anything that large before, and it impresses me. Look at that. That's freaking huge. It's almost too much America to handle. All right, guys, here's what's going on, basically. So we got those new lights. Yeah, cool. So doing a valve cover for PFI, which will be the next video, which you'll see later. So that has to be done by Thursday. Today's Tuesday, so I have to dip that tonight. I got it last night at 8:30 and prepped and primed it last night, so that's like a rush job. Tank's heating up. Haven't sanded since I did that, so I gotta sand the letters off while the tank's heating up, put that up front so it doesn't get dust on it, shut the door, and then continue doing this. So, and then this morning you saw I just did the our box truck dually. I did the brakes on that. Those bolts hadn't been touched in 10 years, and it took longer than expected. So I got a lot going on, so I'm gonna get started on, so I'm gonna sand those letters down, put it up front, shut the door, keep heating up the tank, clean that table off, cut some film, and then I gotta do that door, and then Bondo this rear, and then Bondo that door. So hopefully by the end of this video, all the Bondo is, it might not be perfect, but it's all gonna be laid and close. This door, I'm gonna get done. That I'm gonna get done. The rear, I will get close, and that door, I will get done. That's my plan. I also have dinner tonight, which is in 4 hours, so I have a lot to do in very little time, so I'm gonna get cranking away, and thank you for being patient. We'll see what happens. Woo! Let's see how that turned out. Be sure to watch the next video. I'm gonna start knocking down that door, knocking down the Bondo here. And then actually before I do any of that, I'm probably gonna Bondo this rear section so it can dry while I'm doing all that. So I'm gonna get cracking on all that and we'll see how this turns out, yeah? Shut up, air compressor. I have to do an outro. Okay, guys, my air compressor is apparently broken and leaking, so I got to do an outro because that time lapse stopped because my wife called and said, "Where are you? You're late." So I got that kind of sort of straightened out. I screwed up right here where you saw it was real choppy. I was trying to spread the Bondo when it was too late. It had already started to cure, so I butchered that. So I'm going to revisit this whole thing, get that down. This definitely showed where the highs and lows were, even more so than before. I didn't get to touch that door. I got this sanded to my liking. This is a nice smooth transition, and there's a couple highs and lows, but without like going crazy on the door. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. This turned out pretty good. That transition is pretty nice. I might hit that one more time and just make it stretch a little further. And then all this just kind of hid the ugliness of the welds. Still got to hit that, still got to hit that. That's good. Still have to do a skim of Bondo. Where was that? Yeah, right here and right there. And then the hood will be done. So door, tailgate, hood, that what I just showed you. And then we're ready for primer. I apologize, guys. This week was bananas, and that took so much longer than I thought. But I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate all your comments. Our last Jeep video is going bananas for some reason. So thank you guys. So next video, I'm going to do everything I can. So I'm doing every Tuesday night is kind of when I'm uploading. So I have basically a whole week. I have 2 other videos that'll be put up this week. So keep an eye out for those. And then the next Jeep video will be up next Tuesday. I'm going to do everything in my power in that next video to have this primed. I'm not going to rush anything, but I'm going to work as hard as I can to get done what we need. Just look over everything, last minute stuff. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your comments. You guys gave me a ton of ideas that I did in this video. I don't know. I got to go. I'm late. The wife's going to yell at me, but thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple days. You guys get 3 videos this week. So we'll see you soon.